Oh, man. Sorry, that was loud in the microphone. Shh. All right, well, welcome everybody to the Spring 2023 Annapolis Christian Academy State of the School. We're excited to have those of you that have joined us in person. Thank you for being here. And thank you for those joining online and for those watching this as a recording, which I assume will be posted on YouTube at some point. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. We are very grateful. I'm going to open us with a quick word of prayer and then have some introductory comments. Righteous Lord, thank you for this opportunity to join here on behalf of your school. We pray for wisdom. We ask that you'll give the parents and the faculty and the students perseverance to finish running the race that is set before them for this school year. Thank you for your faithfulness to Annapolis. Lord, you are always bringing surprises to the table. We are grateful for those, and we are grateful for your hand of dedication and your hand of guidance on this school. We ask that you'll watch over these kiddos that you've entrusted to our care. May we do our job of coming alongside the families that have brought them here. In your name we ask, amen. So, I'm just going to give a quick update on what the board has been up to lately, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Lockyer and Mr. Pepper for some more specific details. So first, this is a super exciting time to be at Annapolis. We just finished the Lion King production, which I hope everybody got a chance to see. If you didn't, it sold out really fast, so next time buy tickets faster, I think. But it was an awesome production. It was fun to see so many of the personalities of the students come alive on stage, maybe in ways that you wouldn't expect, like Mr. Ian, for example, and Mr. Liam. To see two gentlemen really blossom on the stage was a whole lot of fun to see. And I think if you knew these guys kind of in person, you wouldn't necessarily expect what you saw from Scar and Mufasa on the stage, but boy, was it awesome to watch. It's amazing to see the talent that God brings to the school, and it's really amazing to see the way that Mrs. Fox and Mrs. Atkinson are able to kind of corral so many people into a phenomenal production like they did. It's also an exciting time to be part of Annapolis because we have incredible re-enrollment numbers, and Mr. Lockyer will address those in a little bit more detail later. But I just want to take time to say thank you. Those numbers are awesome because you have taken the time to re-enroll your students early in the school, and that helps us from a planning perspective for next year, so we can think about our faculty needs, so that we can think about our professional development needs, so that we can think about our facility needs. And so as we go into a summer season, when it's actually busier around here for the administrative team, it gives them some numbers to work with as we look forward to next school year. With that in mind, the board has been undergoing a strategic planning process. We had an offsite for half an afternoon, or for half a day rather, right before we started our spring break here. We're looking forward to rolling that out in the fall. You'll see a general theme kind of running through the strategic plan, and that theme is deepening the culture on campus. And when I say culture on campus, what I'm talking about is how are our kids, when we bring them to this campus, developed as spiritual leaders? How are they taught, and how is the Great Commission inculcated in them while they're here? That's what parents bring their students here for. We're always going to have strong academic standards, a rigorous program in that regard. But where we're looking forward to moving into the future is the opportunity to really dive deep into the spiritual life of the students on campus. Whether that's in the classroom, whether that's in athletics, whether that's here in chapel or here when this is transformed into a stage, whether that's in art across the way. We want to see a cohesive, broad and deep discipleship program on campus, and you'll kind of see that theme run through the strategic plan. Mr. Lockyer actually has an exciting announcement along those lines when he comes up to give his presentation. It's towards the end of the presentation, so stay tuned. But thank you so much for being here. We're excited for what God has planned for Annapolis in the coming years. Thank you so much for trusting us with your students. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
And the crowd goes wild. Yeah. Well, again, thank you for taking the time out to come here. Really appreciate it, whether you're here in person or here with a live stream or a video recording. Really appreciate the commitment that you guys have to Annapolis. When it comes to school improvement, it is something similar to the Reformation. When that happened over 500 years ago, it wasn't just like we're going to fix everything and then be done with it. The idea of always performing, always improving, always growing as a school without losing the heart and soul of who we are as a school is important. Dr. John Carver has a quote talking about moving mountains an inch often appears less active than moving molehills a mile. It's easy to get caught up in kind of the quick, easy fixes and kind of arranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, hopefully not the Titanic, but on the on the boat, versus the course navigation and the simple course adjustments that it takes that over time get the ship from point A to point B. And that's really what we want to be about here as a school. Not quick, easy fixes, not things that are just going to kind of just Band-Aid things, but look at kind of what is the big picture, what's our big target, where's the point B that we're going for, and then moving the ship slowly, steadily, and faithfully in that direction. Our big target, what we're aiming for, is really found in Romans 8:29 when it talks about conforming students to the image of his son. That is the big target. And that takes all of us, it takes family, staff, teachers, all of us working together for that good. Dr. David Seibel, who is a headmaster at Coram Deo Academy in Indiana, writes about vision and strategic planning. He says, the vision is that the next generation have tough minds and tender hearts, and that our institution have strong bones. Let it never be said of us that our strategic plans or our cases for support were of molehills instead of mountains. One of the things that I think our school stands in stark contrast to is the state of education today. Just some recent educational articles that came through the Caller Times, and yes, I still read the Caller Times, were really, I think, very striking to me. The head of the Texas Education Association, in talking with the state legislature, saying that only 19% of instruction is on grade level, that the rest of the instruction was below grade level. To me, that was just a shocking admission that they made. And obviously, it's a case for more money and things like that from the legislature. But to say that out loud was just a shocking admission of what's going on in the public school classroom. And he was admitting particularly in the area of reading and reading comprehension. And then in Houston Public Schools, the largest school district in Texas, the TA's overthrow of the local school board and trying to take over that, but doing so in a way that what we see on TV, just the outrage of parents and school board just standing up and trying to get their voice heard, but getting no response from TEA or any of the government institutions. To me, it's just a sad kind of indication of the steady but decline of what's happened educationally, even here in Texas. 40 years ago, during the Reagan administration, there was a comprehensive study that was called A Nation at Risk. There were two kind of really haunting quotes coming from that, and this was from the federal government in criticism of what was happening educationally. And the one that kind of sticks out is the rising tide of mediocrity. Well, this was 40 years ago, and this ushered in a lot of legislation and a lot of kind of, I think, really kind of the forerunner of the effects of what we're seeing today. This also was the sparks of the classical Christian movement. This is really what started Annapolis Christian Academy, is a group of parents saw what was happening and were not settling for the rising tide of mediocrity, but believed there was something better, and organized themselves to really, and had visions of a school, but really had no idea what that looked like. Talking with some of those founders today, they're still blown away at what they see. This campus, this facilities, the number of kids enrolled here, the deep commitment of parents. They never imagined that what they started that many years ago, over 25 years ago, would become what we are today. We have much to be thankful for and much to be grateful for. this school, the mission of this school, has not changed from those early days. It exists to glorify God. It exists as an educational community, and it's committed to the classical and Christian ideals. We are about the cultivation of wisdom and virtue, and the integration of faith and learning into all of life. That's the big target that we're shooting for. We're part of an accrediting body called the Association of Classical and Christian Schools, ACCS. There are now over 500 member schools in ACCS. The classical Christian movement is growing exponentially. What was interesting, though, as I was doing some research or reading some literature, of those 500 schools, only 58 are accredited schools, and we're one of those 58 schools. It's a very small number. The vast majority of those schools do not have a pre-K through 12th grade school. Most of them end at 6th or 8th grade. What we're doing is extremely difficult. Very few schools are doing this. In fact, I was reading, sadly, there were 2 classical Christian schools that are closing and having to give away or try to sell all their school possessions. It is difficult to be a private school. It is difficult to be a classical Christian schools, and it's difficult to have one that goes all the way through graduation. What we're doing, like I said, is not easy. But God continues to bless us and bless faithfulness, and by faith we walk forward as a school. From our Warrior Weeks to Camp Eagle to Homecoming to Formal, with Solar Benedictio, we've been able to host Governor Abbott, our gala, like Rob mentioned, the Lion King, Fine and Performing Arts, Eden of the Arts, concerts, extracurricular. We had 3 state championships this year with volleyball, boys basketball, and girls track. As a school, we have that adds us to 19 state championships. We just continue to be blessed by the Lord and his faithfulness to us as we work to be more and more faithful to him and the calling and the vision of this school. We have the highest enrollment we've ever had and the highest re-enrollment rate we've ever had as a school. Last year, our entire percent of re-enrollment was 86%. This year, just after the early re-enrollment, we're already at 86%, which is, again, just an amazing thing that we're incredibly grateful for, and so thankful for families that are willing to commit and commit early. I was joking with someone about the Corpus being on island time, everyone kind of like taking their time. And as a school, we appreciate people not being on island time and meeting those deadlines. Our enrollment continues to grow, and we're at a point now where we have already classes that are going to be closed or close to being closed. We are committed to having student-to-teacher ratios that we believe are in the best benefit of the students. Preschool, having 13 to 14 kids per classroom. K through 3, 16 per classroom. 4th, 5th, and 6th, 18 per classroom. And 7th through 12th, about 22 per classroom. We feel like we have to keep those student-to-teacher ratios at a manageable level so that we can deliver on the curriculum and make sure that the students their needs are met. What I'd like to share, though, is about what, as a school, we have to have standards that we're meeting. And these come from ACCS, and these become the big kind of points, the bones, if you may, that we kind of stick everything to. And there are 6 of them. And so I want to share kind of in summary from these 6 areas things that have happened over the year and goals and kind of strategically where we're moving in regards to these different key areas. We've talked already about the mission and vision and the planning of the school. Next, I'd like to ask Lane Pepper to come up. He is on the school board and in charge of our finance committee to talk about the finance and the facilities in regards to the stability of the school. So, Lane.
Thank you, Travis. So I have been serving in the board treasurer role for a number of years now, and I I tell the board often that there's two things I have learned with absolute certainty. First is that a private school is a terrible business model, especially a K through 12 private school in a smaller, mid-sized city. That is just, as Travis alluded to, that is an incredibly tough model to make successful. So thank you, Annapolis community, the families, the faculty, the staff, administration that is making that happen, that's being successful at doing that. It is a high order, and we are stepping up and doing that thanks to the hard work of all the constituents of the school. The second thing that has been just made evident time and time again is God's faithfulness. We have seen so many times over the last number of years how God has met us in unique, unexpected, and unbudgeted ways. The nature of the school's financial year is you receive a pretty significant chunk of your revenue in July and August when annual payments are received, when the first round of semi-annual tuition payments are received. And then you essentially live off of that the rest of the fiscal year. So you have to be extremely disciplined early in the year when there's a surplus, because every month thereafter, aside from possibly a month like the gala month, you're going to be running a shortfall. It's just your compensation, your normal operating expenses are going to exceed your tuition receipts and other revenues. And so we talk about landing the plane, because you get to close to the end of the year and you got to land that plane. And there's been some years we're like, we're not sure how we land this plane. And every year God has just provided in beautiful ways, and it's just a testament to his faithfulness, and to him be the glory. I wanted to speak a little bit about our facilities. And I think that a number of you, maybe most all of you, are aware that last year we entered into discussions with the Ed Rochelle Foundation, who was the lender on this property, and talked about what scenario would make the most sense for them in the school, because there was a sizable amount of debt on this campus. There had been debt taken out to acquire the campus, to build the gym, to build the high school. And we were able to come to terms that allowed us to trade a significant amount of debt with increasing debt service requirements as rates were going up, for a long-term lease at a below market rate. Gives us control of the property for at least the next 30 years, puts us in a much better position financially, and the willingness of the foundation to work with us on that is much appreciated, and we just look forward to continuing that positive relationship with the foundation, and just seeing how that flourishes in the years to come. And one way that I know we're already seeing the fruit of that is the foundation has a very aggressive improvement plan. There's some deferred maintenance, some pretty significant projects that need to occur here on campus. Think of AC systems, think of security, and other high dollar items that the foundation is going to be working with us in the next couple of years to make happen. So very, very excited about that. I'd like to talk also just a little bit about our budget, and I think we have a slide for that. Hope you can see that. So what we have here is the projected fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. So our fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th. And this would be for the year ending June 30th, 2023. And just some major takeaways there. Notice net tuition and fees are by far the largest revenue source for the school. So at nearly 70% this current fiscal year, nearly $2.5 million. But as you think about what that means, so anytime we need to move the needle in some area financially for the school, there's really only one major lever to do that, and that would be with our tuition and fees. You go down through the rest of the revenue categories there, you see, grants, nearly $300,000. Those are much appreciated. There's a lot of work that goes into achieving some of those. Definitely a blessing for the school. Fundraising, $500,000 nearly. I think there may be some misconceptions about the purpose of fundraising, as if the fundraising goes into a slush fund or a bucket for wish list. Or what you'll find, and you'll see as we go to the next slide where we look at expenses, fundraising is truly to fill the gap. I mean, there is a gap every year between what our net tuition and fees and other revenue sources generate and the expenses to operate the school. And that fundraising is the mechanism that we use to fill that gap. So thank you for all the generosity that is shown to the school. It truly is the reason that we're able to make the school operate and be what it is. Going through there, though, you see there is, on the expense side, you'll notice that our compensation expenditures of a little over $2.3 million, again, by far the largest expense category. So just if you want to think about the two big ticket items that the school operates with, is one, the tuition and fees, which runs about 2/3 of our revenues, and then our compensation cost, which runs about 2/3 of our expenses. So those are the heavy items on the revenue and expense side, and then we have to fill the gaps with the others. So athletics, about $300,000 expected this year for athletics, fine arts, and other extracurricular. About $150,000 for our advancement, engagement, and development. So the fundraising expense, but also all that we do to engage, market, solicit, seek out advertisement for enrollment. All of that falls into that bucket. Facilities, this is a large campus. This is an older campus, so certainly not a cheap campus to operate. We do have fairly significant facilities expenses, also utilities, which goes with a large campus, and then round that out with curriculum, technology, office, and other. So you see total expenses there of about $3.7 million projected for this year. You'll remember from the previous slide, there was a little over $3.6 million of revenue. So this year we are projecting a modest deficit. We will fluctuate between modest profitability and modest deficits. That's just the nature of a nonprofit. I tell people often we're in no jeopardy of losing our nonprofit status. But God provides, and He's just been so faithful, and it's been a pleasure to watch that play out, and just look forward to seeing how He will do that in the future. So thank you all.
It's amazing how we are blessed with board members who each bring a unique and needed skill set, and so just blessed with how they come together and work for the school, and just really appreciate their time and energy. Finances is always a hot topic, so Lane always stays pretty busy, so thankful for his work with that. So next piece I'd like to talk about is government administration. So when I first got here, there were multiple administrators, and then with some admin turnover and COVID, really the school leadership got consolidated into one position, the head of school position, knowing that that was not long-term kind of the best model for us as a school. And so now we're at a point as a school where we can start adding plurality of leadership and having more of a collaborative model, which is really, I think, in the best interest of the school. We've been able to add Shayla Floyd as Dean of Students. We have Jessica Prothrow as our early childhood director. She was part-time, now she's moved to a full-time position. And I'd like to just announce a promotion of one of our teachers, Patrick Steckbeck. I'm assuming this is the exciting news that Rob was talking about. Patrick has been just an outstanding teacher for us. He's just been here a handful of years, but has just really shown just incredible potential, leadership, and so recognizing that, we'd like to promote him to our Director of Spiritual Life. It's a new position. It's part of our administrative team. You can see the kind of 4 areas that he will help kind of oversee and work in plurality with the other administrators. Again, having the ability to delegate those responsibilities and have people to start taking on those responsibilities, our main priority, helps me tremendously in my position, knowing that I was doing a lot and spread pretty thin. So we're able to now kind of coordinate those efforts and start addressing those things that we know we need to continue to improve and grow in. So his primary focus will be on faculty development, particularly year 2. Year 1, we have a full teacher mentoring program. It's basically how do you survive life at Annapolis. Year 2 then is Patrick will be stepping in and basically what does it mean to be a classical and Christian teacher. That's a kind of a lifelong journey, but it's going to set the stage for them, and then helping us coordinate beyond year 2 into growth in specific content area knowledge or pedagogical knowledge. So having a strong year 1 and year 2, I think, really onboard our teachers and really create deep roots for them here at the school. Student culture, helping with that, from just particularly in the area of small groups and chapel. He's heavily invested in that. He leads the Solar Chapel. He also writes the small groups, but we've been working on expanding our discipleship small group program and him helping with that. Curriculum, starting with Solar, we start with kind of the end in mind, so where do we want kids to be? So Patrick is working with, right now, our history teacher, Mr. Prothrow, and our literature curriculum, and coordinating that into a comprehensive thing, and then working from there into the science and math, and having, right now, what we have a trivium approach to a quadrivium approach, and then trickling that down through the grammar to have a comprehensive K through 12 approach to our curriculum. That will obviously take some time. We're really excited about the progress that we've made so far, particularly in Solar, and next year some changes that we're going to make as far as coordinating. This time period they're studying history will be also the time period they study in their theology and Bible classes, and the literature, the books that they study will all be at the same time period, so they will be learning from the different teachers, but be able to bring in information from their other teachers and kind of grow and enhance as we kind of, all 3 teachers kind of working together in a cross-curricular approach. The next piece is this cultivation of student virtue, and as I mentioned, this is a key target that we shoot for here. It's not about passing tests. It's not about going to college, although those are worthy things. For us, those are too low of goals. Our goal is for kids to glorify God and enjoy Him forever, and that comes through living a virtuous life. We have been blessed with a plethora of things that we offer students as far as investing in their culture. Chapel, grammar morning time. This year we introduced what we call Benedictio. It's a before lunch, we read a psalm or scripture and sing a hymn together. We start the week off with the Gloria Patria. We end the week off with the doxology. And again, it's kind of an extension for what's happening in grammar in the morning time, and then moving through the soul with the Benedictio, our house programs, small groups, formal, and then feast and festival days. We have a Warrior Festival coming up. It's our all-school Renaissance themed field day. We have an all-school picnic, and creating that kind of idea with our different historical time periods. So we have several events that we do throughout the year. Fourth grade just did a living history. The Logic did Daniel Boone Day. And what we would like to do is coordinate those into a full festival or feast day where grammar, logic, and rhetoric that are doing the same time periods are all doing a festival or feast day on the same time, so they're working together. So for example, Frontier Days would be third grade doing their Pioneer Day. We have Daniel Boone Day in Logic, and then our upper school studying that time period would all be working together and connecting those three developmental stages, those three levels of school all together, and again, creating that continuity of what we're doing as a school. Our school community. First thing that we really see an area that we'd like to continue to improve in is in our engagement of parents. We would like to kick off a summer book club for parents that are interested, particularly in the area of parenting. I'm getting a lot of feedback from parents and parents talking to teachers about the challenges of raising children in this generation. We have two books that we kind of rely on. One is called Shepherding the Child's Heart, and the other one is called Age of Opportunity. We'd like to offer those as a book club for parents over the summer, for those that are interested in wanting to walk through some of our faculty and learn from these great books the truths of what these different ages, the challenges, but also the opportunities that we have. Age of Opportunity is written for parents of teenagers or soon-to-be teenagers, and Shepherding a Child's Heart is for kids that are younger. We feel like this is a good kickoff to what we'd like to launch into the school year as far as like using Patrick as a way to learn about what we do here as a school. You will find that the more you invest in the school and learn about the school and show up to the festival days and listen to the presentations and go to the morning time class presentations and go to the junior thesis and senior thesis, the more you learn about what we're doing as a school, the more it'll make sense to you. We'd also like to offer just evenings where Patrick can talk in depth about different aspects of the school, and you'll find that what we do and why we do it makes more and more sense, and it'll help you in helping your child, and really honestly, it grows your own knowledge base, and you really start to explore and see really what education has to offer. The other big thing on people's mind is safety. Obviously, the tragedy in Tennessee is on everyone's mind. The idea that small Christian schools are kind of immune to school violence, that whole kind of idea was shattered with that event. We would like to continue to improve our safety. We're a big campus. We're kind of wide open in some areas. And so the first place is to improve our facilities, particularly with access with doors. So part of the upgrades this summer with the Ed Rochelle Foundation is the second floor of the grammar building. Those are wooden doors that have louvers to them. The way that they were designed was the air conditioning was for air to move through the doors, but obviously when it comes to strength and stability, wooden doors with slats in them are not super strong. So we're going to replace those with solid metal doors on the second story classrooms. Also, in the next 2 to 3 years, improving the exterior doors. There are some older doors, and just wanted to have them be a stronger, more solid door, and that sometimes work properly or more consistently. Also improving our cameras and having more cameras on campus. Again, just be able to see kind of all the areas that we need to see around campus. The second thing is the Texas State Legislature has approved legislation where teachers can conceal carry through a program called the School Marshal Program. This would have teachers being certified through this program and then having the coordinated training and coordinating access with the building and plans, and having a certification program and a program that works with us as a school to create this plan and create teachers that would be certified through the School Marshal Program. And last, the board is strongly considering having an armed security guard on campus as just a visible deterrent. We have people that take shortcuts to our campus, and we shoo them off. But it would be nice to have someone here that would be kind of full-time, that would be full-time, checking doors, making sure they're locked. If there were someone wandering on campus who shouldn't be, that would be immediately talked to and gently escorted off campus, just as a visible deterrent. We want to be proactive in having these measures in place to be ready. Again, God forbid that anything would happen of any serious nature, but to be ready and have all these things in place to meet any threats that potentially would come our way. Next is academics. We have always been a strong school academically. Our 7th through 12th grade takes a standardized test called the Classic Learning Test. We have started it this year. We used to take the ERB, the Education Records Bureau test. We have changed this year to the Classic Learning Test because it offers assessments that are more in line with where we're at as a school. It uses the classics in classic literature and historical texts for reading selections and exams. And it's more in line with our curriculum. So schools that are taking the CLT are going to be classical schools. They're going to be a pretty close apples to apples comparison for us as far as the rigor and the expectations. This was our first year taking it. We weren't really sure what to expect. We had some early results back. This is from the 9th and 10th grade test. You can see the blue bar is the average of students that took the CLT, and you can see that even after our first year, our average is above that average. And again, this is a very similar school, so we're very pleased so far with what we're seeing as far as the outcomes of our school and outcomes of our students compared to similar schools with similar expectations. Faculty instructional resources, we always want to take care of our teachers. They come here, they sacrifice a lot, they give up a lot. Teacher salaries in public schools continue to exponentially increase as I try to attract teachers to fill shortages. We're not able to stay up with that, obviously without the state funding. We obviously believe we give them quite a few benefits that are non-monetary, but we also know that our teachers come here, they sacrifice a lot, and particularly teachers that have school-age children and having to come and pay tuition. So the board has graciously agreed this year to have a $1,000 discount for full-time teaching staff that have school-age children. We want to attract and retain high-quality teachers, and many of them come with families. We want them to not have to bear an enormous, undue financial burden, and so we're really happy about that. Also, the end of the year appeal is going to come out in the next week or two. That will be going for teacher professional development. Ongoing teacher professional development is critical to their growth, and many of them a handful of them are going to the conference this year for the ACCS. It's in Pittsburgh, so there's obviously flight and hotels and things like that. It's an expensive endeavor. We have regional meetings. Those are usually in Austin. We'd also like our faculty to visit other schools. We had 2 faculty members visit a school in Southern California. So we'd like to give them those opportunities. Obviously, all that costs money. And so the money that we get this year with the end of the year appeal will go to help improve or help give opportunities for teachers and their ongoing professional development. Advancement, and Lane's already talked about this a little bit as far as like where does your giving go when you do give money to the gala or give money online or give to the school, where does it go? Well, it goes to our Warrior Fund, and there's 5 key priorities of the fund to attract and retain high-quality professionals, staff, teachers, to offer student programming. So this is to enhance the things that we do. For example, this year we had a drone racing team. It took money to purchase new drones. So to enhance the programming that we have, athletics is constantly needing new and improved gear. Fine arts, we want to continue to grow and improve that. It requires money to buy set pieces and costumes, and so to enhance and grow what we have obviously takes money. The third is to create opportunities for our students. So we have lots of opportunities on there: House, Formal, Camp Eagle, those kind of things. Again, those are all things that require money. To strengthen our student programming, so to have excellent athletic programs, have excellent fine arts program, that takes money and that financing. And the last piece, again, like Lane mentioned, there is a gap. What it costs us to educate a student and the tuition, there's a gap there, and it helps fill that gap. One way that you can help us with the Warrior Fund is through our school sponsorship program. We have recently kind of revamped it and ramped it up. I have a short video. If my lovely assistant can get that queued up. I want to talk to you about the school sponsorship program. It's a chance for you to impact the students, staff, faculty, and facilities here at the school by partnering with us. It's also a chance for you to promote your name out to our friends and family of the school, which includes 300 ACA students, over 200 ACA families, 200 ACA alumni, staff, faculty, and hundreds of fans that watch our games as we live stream. There are 3 levels of giving. First is Bellator or Warrior. It's our highest level. With that, you get customized banner, you get tickets to the Warrior Gala, promotional marketing material that includes a fall and winter sports program that we'll have available, be in the yearbook, and also our theater program and Evening of the Arts. You get season passes to all the home games, and we'll get special recognition at our Grandparents and Special Friends Day. The middle level, Faltor, patron, gets many of those same benefits, and a MECE friend is the third level. We'd love for you to be a part of the programming here at the school and use this as an opportunity and a platform to promote your business or your family's name. And who knows, yours truly could do the commercial on a live stream. You don't want to miss out, so please go to our website, look for the sponsor link, and from there, be able to get more information and even sign up for our program. Thank you for your generosity, and would love for you to be a part of the school and sponsoring what we're doing. Let's go Warriors. If you're interested in that, there are some flyers out back when you leave.
I want to talk to you about the school sponsorship program. It's a chance for you to impact the students, staff, faculty, and facilities here at the school by partnering with us. It's also a chance for you to promote your name out to our friends and family of the school, which includes 300 ACA students, over 200 ACA families, 200 ACA alumni, staff, faculty, and hundreds of fans that watch our games as we live stream.
I won't say anything about the help. It's wonderful. She's doing great. So, again, if you're interested in being a part of a school sponsorship program, we'd love you to be a part of it. It's, again, all that money goes to the Warrior Fund and helps fund those priorities. We also have one last fundraiser. This is our Warriors on the Wharf. This is a family-friendly fishing tournament. I know if you're fish normal tournaments here, this is kind of a completely different format. We have 2 boats that are part of the Fisherman's Wharf. So you're buying a ticket to fish on those boats. It's a family event, so students from 12 on up, so you and your spouse, and if you have older kids, can go on the boat. All the tackle and gear is provided. Bait, everything. They take you to the spot, and you hopefully will catch a fish or more. Biggest fish wins. It's usually snapper, I think, is what they'll be fishing for. There's an air-conditioned part of it, so if you're not super salty with your sea legs, you can just hang out inside. And so again, it's a pretty low-key, family-friendly event. If you have a child 12 or under, there's a piggy perch fishing part of it at Fisherman's Wharf. Again, all the gear is provided, all the bait's provided, and just again, it's just meant to be just kind of a fun family event. Obviously, the money does benefit the school, but we really just want you to come, enjoy your time together, get a wonderful lunch at Grumbles, and hopefully the weather will be great, and just spend time together as a family outside. Whether you're a fisherman or not, it's kind of geared for either or. You don't have to get your hands too slimy. Well, lastly, I just want to end with what's next. The first kind of big priority for us kind of in the near future is to recruit highly qualified teachers to fill those open positions. If you know of teachers or know of people that would be great teachers here, we'd love for you to get the word out and have them come visit with me. I know there's some questions and things like that as far as like, what do you get paid here, or what's it like teaching there? We'd love to just talk to teachers about that. Again, we don't offer the high-end competitive salary that they do in public school, but we do offer things that I think really good teachers are looking for, is a community of other teachers that are committed to education, committed to learning. You have families that are committed to the school, and students that want to come and learn and not get in fights and do all the other crazy stuff that a lot of teachers are dealing with day in and day out. We also we have hired Virginia Dempsey. She is our new athletic director. She has been here at Annapolis for some time, and then switched over to Yorktown Christian Academy, and now is back. We're really pleased to have her. She'll be starting in middle to late May, and really excited to have someone filling that position. Also, we are going to present to the board a formal proposal to add our special ed classroom, which we call Imago Dei, to our full school program. We had 2 kind of public events that we shared the vision for the program and shared that information. We feel like we're in a position now and getting feedback from stakeholders to move ahead and make that a full program. We've been pleased with how the program's been going, the benefits of it, and see that it's a way for us to serve our school families and the Coastal Bend community. And then last, again, the priority of just selling tickets to the Warriors on the Wharf. Would love for you to be a part of it, whether you want to fish or come and volunteer. There's lots of opportunities, but want to make that kind of our big culminating fundraiser at the end of the year. Again, just kind of a fun, family-friendly event. You can spend some time on the water and spend some time with your family. Last, again, just want to reframe everything as far as like, what is the big idea? What are we trying to do here? This comes from a quote it's a little lengthy quote. I won't read it all, but John Milton Gregory wrote a book called The 7 Laws of Teaching. And in there he talks about teachers and schools. And the last line is one of my favorites. Obviously, we're warriors, and he talks about the big goal is that teachers are to ignite imagination, stir curiosity, all of these things. And our big goal is to send our students forth as warriors, armed and eager for conflict. And we want them to be ready for whatever the Lord leads them. We know that there are battles ahead. It is not going to be an easy road, but with the armor of God, with the full training that they get here, they will be armed and eager for conflict and to raise the banner high for the Lord and for his kingdom. And by doing that, we raise up that next generation that we can, again, that pleases the Lord and glorifies him by their thoughts, words, and deeds. So this is, again, our big target for the school. It is something that we continue to grow and improve in this area. Thank you so much for your time tonight. We appreciate your commitment and your generosity to the school. If you have any questions, we'll be around if you want to ask those questions. And again, thank you again, and go Warriors.